My latest daily keyboard is definitely due for a swap, and the TKD Cycle 8 is here, and I'm more excited than I've been for a while. So around the time the Cycle 7 released, we were in the height of a new renaissance for budget premium keyboards. Mind you, this is around the same time period the Neo 65 first debuted, and I unfortunately did never get a chance to really own a Cycle 7. Thankfully, it's back again just like the name implies. Get it? Like Cycle? Man, never mind. Anyway, the biggest reason I didn't run and jump on the Cycle 7 group buy was because I like my TKLs with my F-row, and the Cycle 8 brings it back around with a total TKL layout and much more, which we'll get into. Most importantly, we're going to be reviewing the Rakka HE or Hall Effect keyboard version of this board. And the real question is this going to be the most capable, stylish gaming TKL? So the Cycle 8 comes with two different mounting styles to play around with. Gasket beans, a name that I like a lot, and O-ring to offer two unique feels and experiences. And the third package there is just bump on feet. There are also stabilizers. I also got the wired only hot swap PCB to go along with it. But you've likely seen enough reviews about that one though, so let's get into this Rakka Hall Effect PCB. It's an all blue and gold 1.6 PCB, and it includes Hall Effect switch compatible hot swap sockets. Man, that's a mouthful. My Cycle 8 keyboard is the TKD coated brown one that goes by the name of Acorn. And I think this is my first brown keyboard, to be honest. The coating is consistent and not too rough. The engravings are extremely precise and well done. I like it, man. Although pretty minimal from the top view, aside from the snazzy little LED window, the actual design of the keyboard case is also super well done. The weights are very attractive. So along the profile, we have some sleek curvature, making it a little bit easier to lift up, and the typing angle is 8%. The Cycle features the handy ball and catch system that has become almost the new standard for most new keyboards, and I really appreciate that. The PCB connector still utilizes the typical ribbon cable connection though, but that's fine. So the price on the Cycle 8 for a decent setup with weights and lights will start you around $165, and with the added Rakka PCB, it'll pretty much double the price. So let's check out what you can get for that upgrade. Now, when it comes to gaming or just typing, using the Rapid Trigger Rakka configurator is extremely responsive. You can set your actuation so sensitive that you like barely touch it and it'll still trigger it. With that, there's a lot of different potential for customization when it comes to dialing in your own specific playstyle. With the dynamic reset level, you have the ability to adjust the reset travel height down to the millimeter, which will reset the trigger, allowing you to create another input. Another fader you can work with is the dynamic trigger travel. This will give you the freedom to set how far within your keystroke it will actuate or input. Likely the most beneficial feature for non-gamers as well, since you won't necessarily need to bottom out in order to actuate the switch. It's kind of like you have an unlimited amount of switches in one. In theory, that is. Of course, this has no effect on the actual feel or sound of the switch, but it is very useful. I like to set rapid trigger to full travel, so no matter how light or hard I press it, the key still triggers. It's likely not the best setting for a typing test game because of errors, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this, right? It's very capable when it comes to HE. You can also adjust this value while not in rapid trigger mode as well. So I've tried a few HE boards since the beginning of the year, and this program's got to be the most stable one of them all. Wooting has some pretty new updates that I haven't quite tried yet, and I've heard they're pretty groundbreaking, but as far as the standard rapid trigger features, this is just as competitive. Rakka lives up to the hype and reputation, as we should expect. You can also use the configurator to adjust other macros and key values akin to VIA or QMK, which this board is also compatible with. Nonetheless, let's hear how the TKD Cycle 8 sounds with the Rakka HE PCB and Gateron Jade Hall Effect switches. These switches are smooth, and that's gotta have a lot to do with the fact that they've got minimal mechanical components creating friction against each other, due to the magnets that communicate with the PCB. The sound of this board is pretty unique, like not bad, but not stellar. But that's simply something that Hall Effect switches haven't quite nailed yet, in my opinion. So this board right here is very capable and designed with amazing craftsmanship. So I had the chance to try out both PCBs now. And I have some words for TKD. This board sounds amazing with no foam. And the gasket beans are hella bouncy, at least how I installed them. I mean, I think I did it right. They kind of just pop out whenever I open up the catchball system though. And HMX switches just go hard on anything, but I would still hear some case ping if it was there. This is one quality TKL for sure. Here's the sound test of the wired hot swap PCB. No flex cuts, nor foam, and HMX gravel switches. So in my personal opinion, this is a great board for anyone who doesn't have an aluminum TKL. In terms of the enthusiast level mechanical keyboard type of TKL, there are plenty more slightly more expensive options like the NuFi Gem 80 and far more affordable TKLs like maybe Apple Maker's Galaxy 80 too. But this board lives in a different space, following its hyped predecessor, the Cycle 7 that is. But I've never owned that board, so I'm not quite sure how far that goes. I just know I enjoy it. Without the HE upgrade, it's up against some competition in the Neo 80 and JRIS 80 I tested late last year. And I have no insider info on this, but I kind of feel like there should be a Zoom TKL V2 in the works by now, or something similar. But the difference here is that the Cycle 8 is the latest and most available. Kinda. I'll tell you why in just a second. So the acoustics in this thing are so balanced. They've incorporated a force brake to help with pinging, and the weight and internal design are near flawless. But still, with that said, the biggest factor here is the Hall Effect features. Not that it's bad by any means without it, but I personally wouldn't see myself grabbing this board without it because it really is what makes this iteration special. Plus there's really no direct competitors in the aluminum TKL Hall Effect space. And if there is, please make sure to let me know down in the comments, but I'm pretty convinced. You don't have to sacrifice a beautiful design for gaming features. You kind of just have it all, except for money in your pocket after the purchasing. With that being said, if you ordered the HE version and are wondering if you made the right decision, the answer is more than likely you did. Now back to that availability aspect. I received my unit very close to North America's group buy end, so you may not still be able to grab it within the group buy. I'll still make sure to drop a link down in the description to check it out, but as for word on when the Cycle 8 will return, I guess we'll never know. TKD will definitely be releasing something new down the line though, and I don't see Hall Effect going anywhere anytime soon. Thanks for watching and checking out the video. There are always new keyboards coming, so make sure to hit that subscribe button in order to catch the next review. I often get keyboards ahead of time, so you will not want to miss what's coming next. Here are a couple other videos you can watch, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.